and my title will be Sceptism about GDP as a good measure of growth. Okay, in this video, I am going to be talking about measuring GDP and economic growth. I am going to be looking at what it can do for us and not to do, and why you would not want to use GDP. So, let's get started by defining GDP. Basically, GDP is a gross domestic product. GDP is defined as the market value of the final goods and services produced within a country in a given period of time. But there are three parts to this definition, so let's take a look at the first one. It includes the market of all final goods and services. As an example, let's say you go down to your local coffee store and you buy a coffee. The coffee is considered a final good because a final good is one which is consumed by its end consumer. It's bought by its end consumer. So you are the end consumer because you drink that coffee. The coffee beans that your coffee store purchases is not part of GDP because it is not consumed by the store. It is used to make the coffee, which then you consume. So an intermediate good is defined as an item that is used by one firm, produced by one firm, bought by another, and then used as a component of a final good. The beans are used as a component of the coffee, which is the final good. Some goods such as used cars, existing homes, also stocks and bonds are not counted as a part of GDP because they were already counted as part of GDP in the year in which it was produced. Second aspect, GDP only includes goods and services produced within our country's geographical boundaries at a particular time. So anything, for example, produced outside of nation is not counted as part of nation's GDP. GDP also measures production only within a specific period of time, and this is usually 1 year. Standard of living is said to rise when GDP rises as well. Now, let's take a look at the circular flow of expenditure. It has two main institutions that are going to make up the domestic circular flow, and those are household and firms. Households and firms, they trade in two distinct markets. We have the factor markets and we have the goods market. The factor markets include land, labor, and capital that household provides to firm, while the good market consists of all of the goods and services that firm sell to household. Households spend their money in the goods market, and this is known as consumption expenditure. All this money goes directly to firms, but firms also purchase goods in the goods and services market, and this is known as investment. Normally, the goods and services that firms purchase are capital, but other firms make that capital and sell it in the goods and services market. It is said that when firms invest, they are still purchasing goods and services from the goods market. This money goes directly back to firm. It is not going to be the same firm, but it's going to be a different firm that makes these capital goods. We have a third institution, and that is the government. The government also produces goods and services in the goods and services in the form of government expenditure in the goods and services market. Now that money again goes to firm because they are purchasing it from firms. We also have the rest of the world, and the rest of the world purchases our exports, and we purchase the rest of the world's export as Malaysians import. This is known as net export, which is export minus imports, and this money again goes directly to firms. Now all this money is at the firms. What do they do with it? Well, they pay their employees and their board of directors and also anyone else who's working for them. This This money goes to land, labor, capital and entrepreneurship, which is in the factor market. From the factor market, money goes straight to households because at the end of the day, the factor market is really just composed of households. This is known as household income. Thank you.